So in a typical mediation session, it really depends on where we are in the process, but there's really 3 different types of sessions that we're gonna have. The first is the individual session that I have with all my clients after onboarding. I have a 60 to 90 minute session with each person that's going through the process, and that allows me to get to know them, get to know their values, get to know their fears, any concerns they have, and I can learn more about how to really support them through the mediation process. We all behave differently when we are in conflict with our spouse, and some people become really quiet. Some people know that they have a temper and they can start to get really heated. Some people know that they will just zone out if things get too emotional. And it's really helpful for me to know that as a conflict resolution professional so that I can assist them and maybe chime in when things start to get challenging. And if I know that about both parties, I can be really, really helpful and I can help people get through the conflict. But I can also start to learn more about the parties' objectives, their goals, any issues that they think are gonna be really difficult to get through. And that helps me plan for future sessions. The next type of session is going to be our planning agenda session, and that is going to have us go through the agenda for really the entire case. If we know you have children, child support, child custody, and parenting time is something that we're gonna have to deal with. So dealing with a parenting plan is probably going to be a priority, and we can address that early on. And then we can start to go through, let's talk about the marital residence, let's talk about retirement plans, let's talk about everything we need to handle and plan out how and in what order we are going to address the rest of the issues. Some people know, hey, this is gonna be easy, so let's start with that issue. This is gonna be difficult, so let's push this back. It really depends on the couple. And then we have just a random regular session that we're going through the process. And this can just fall at any point over the couple months that we're working together. And a regular session might be like, for example, we haven't talked about the retirement plans. So today we're gonna spend our hour to 2 hours talking about what retirement plans do the parties have, how are we going to break them up, how are we going to assign the different accounts, and are we gonna do a qualified domestic relations order or a quadro to divide the retirement account? Are we going to hire a professional to help break those down for you? Do you need to have them appraised? What needs to happen? I work through all these issues and help the clients determine how their next step is going to look. And so each session is really just going to focus on whatever issue is before us, and we are going to have a dialogue, go through different outcomes and possibilities, and then maybe we will reach a resolution in that session. We may have a short agreement or a term sheet where the parties are just able to put down in writing what they agreed upon that day, and then we can move on to the next thing.